Betty White died December 31st, just shy of her 100th birthday on January 17th. A remarkable person, she was one of the first women to star in her own sitcom, Life of Elizabeth. She has spent well over 60 years in the public eye. Best known for her role in The Golden Girls, Betty White has also used her position in the public eye to stand up for the LGBTQ community, people with HIV, and racial justice. The actress and comedian understood how to use her platform beyond entertainment, lifting the visibility of marginalized communities. Betty White starred in The Golden Girls as Rose Nyland and regularly appeared alongside gay and lesbian characters at a time when even mentioning queer people was verboten. One character, Jean, an explicit lesbian, instead of vaguely gesturing to the rainbow like most other shows do today, fell for Rose, Betty White's character. And it was actually very good. Instead of presenting Jean in a predatory light a la Sweet Transvestite, she's just someone who likes women.
If I were, like you, I think I'd be very flattered and proud that you thought of me that way.
Thank you, Rose.
Well, I guess that's all I had to say. Except you don't have to go. Unless you think our friendship alone isn't enough.
It's enough.
Betty White has also made several statements in support of gay marriage.
I'd like to say that Alex here is my straight man, but I know that won't cut much ice in this room. I just want to say that all the judgmental people out there, if two people in love want to get married, let them get married. Just mind your own business and don't worry about it. I wish if everybody would mind his own business or her own business, as the case may be, we'd be a lot better off. Don't you think?
I have to say to those against gay advances like gay marriage and the like?
Oh, I don't care who you sleep with, whom you sleep with. I don't, it's what kind of a human being are you?
I've never understood why people have...
I don't understand. It's such a personal, private business and none of mine.
In 2010, in an interview with Parade magazine, Betty White said, "I don't care who anybody sleeps with. If a couple has been together all that time and there are gay relationships that are more solid than some heterosexual ones, I think it's fine if they want to get married. I don't know how people can get so anti-something. Mind your own business, take care of your affairs, and don't worry about other people so much." In a Golden Girls episode, 72 Hours, the show became one of the first sitcoms to even mention the AIDS crisis. Rose Nyland finds out that due to a blood transfusion when she had her gallbladder removed, she might have been exposed to HIV, and she has to come in for a test. The episode follows Rose as she waits 72 hours to get the results. At that time, even mentioning AIDS was taboo. AIDS stigma and misinformation was rampant. U.S. doctors in the 1990s believed that they should not be legally required to treat patients with AIDS or HIV. AIDS was seen as a gay disease. In fact, before the name was changed to Acquired Immunodeficiency Syndrome, it was known as Gay-Related Immune Deficiency, or GRID. People with AIDS could lose their jobs, housing, insurance, and even family and friends. White discussed the significance of the historic episode, saying, "Not only were people understandably afraid of AIDS, but a lot of people wouldn't even admit it existed." It's interesting that they picked Rose for that situation. Blanche was such a busy lady, but if it had been her story, it would have taken on a whole other color. But with Rose being Miss Not Always With It, it came as a real surprise. AIDS was seen as a punishment from God, an attitude the Golden Girls tackled head on. An editor on the show, Peter D. Byte, whose partner was HIV positive, had this to say about the episode. I hadn't gone to the taping of the episode, but I was set to edit it. I hadn't read the script, and I had no idea what it was about or what was coming. This was in early 1990, a time when there was still so much shame about the disease. Having grown up in Louisiana, I already was feeling shame about being gay. My partner was dying, and now I was ashamed about that too, and feeling on some level like I deserved this. So here I was, editing away, watching the episode for the first time, and I got to the point where there's an argument between Rose and Blanche. I looked up at the screen in time for Blanche to say,
AIDS is not a bad person's disease, Rose. It is not God punishing people for their sins.
My heart stopped. All of a sudden, unexpectedly, here was this woman on a sitcom I was cutting, talking about what I was feeling. I always admired Rue as a star and a friend anyway, but now a character I come to know so well was saying what I needed to hear. I broke down, of course. I had to stop working, and then I pulled myself together. And from that point, right in the middle of my partner's battle, I no longer thought I was a bad person. The show changed me in that moment of desperation, and my God, did the world ever need that to be said. The writers on the show put in a tremendous amount of work and consulted doctors at UCLA to find out what they needed to say and what people needed to hear about HIV and AIDS. The UCLA people stressed that there needs to be counseling for people when they get their results, whether positive or negative. So we, the writers of the show, were happy that this episode became an opportunity to get the message out there that either way, people need support. Which is what we have the doctor say to Rose when he says that she is fine. In Rose's case, she has the built-in support system of Dorothy, Blanche, and Sophia. They are the ones to help her make it through the 3-day waiting period and all of the denial and panic. And they do it by letting her know that no matter what Rose's test results might be, she is going to be okay because she is loved, said Tracy Gamble, a Golden Girls writer. In 1954, when Betty White had her own variety show, she promoted a 21-year-old black dancer named Arthur Duncan. He danced on the show and was even interviewed by Betty White. This was an unprecedented action since black performers were rarely seen on TV unless in racist, stereotypical, and degrading roles. It was 1954, which was pre-civil rights movement. CBS affiliates in the Deep South threatened to ban the showing of White's show if Duncan continued to be featured on it. Not only did Betty White refuse to take him off the show, but she actually gave him even more airtime. She insisted on fitting in Arthur Duncan anywhere she could. She stated, "They were going to take our show off the air if we didn't get rid of Arthur because he was black. I'm sorry, but you know, he stays. Live with it."
It's the motherfucking Eagle Double G.
Snoop Dogg!
Unfortunately, CBS gave in to racist demands and her show ended after 14 episodes. Duncan, now in his late 80s, commented, "The first show I had ever been on, and I credit Betty White for really getting me started in show business in television. I was on the show, and they had some letters out of Mississippi and elsewhere that some of the stations would not carry the show if I was permitted to stay on there. Well, Betty wrote back and said, needless to say, we used Arthur Duncan every opportunity we could." Arthur Duncan went on to become the first black person to join a USO tour in 1957 and spend years on the Lawrence Welk Show, another variety show. Well, I was stuck in bed, and you are stuck here with me. But now you may go and live your lives. Go, be cute, keep gay, be crime. Bye!
Julie, do the thing.
Don't freak out. It's not real.